Step 5 has two different parts, part A and part B, or 1 or 2. I'm going to start with the part A, or 1, and then I'll go into B. So part 1, change your answer to a proper form. So your proper form can either be a whole number, mixed number, or it'll be a fraction. So, for example, whole number A, you're going to take off the extra part that you don't need in this example. So for 5 and 0/3, 0/3 is 0. There is no thirds there. So that means you would take out your 0/3 and your answer would just be 5. You're going to do the same for B. And then for part B, change your answer to a proper form. You are going to then make it into also a mixed number. You can never leave your fraction as an improper fraction. It always must be a mixed number. So for this improper fraction, which means the bigger numbers on top, the smaller numbers on bottom, you're going to see how many times 3 fits into 15, or if anything could be multiplied by 15 in this case, it can be. You say 3 times 3 times what equals 15. And we know 3 times 5 equals 15. So that means 3 can fit into 15 5 times evenly. So we don't need to make it into a fraction. We can, but we don't have to. So if we were to, we would say how much is left over after we do 3 times 5 to get 15. So our top number will then be 0, and our bottom number, we're just going to pull the denominator to our new fraction, and that will just be 3. So our final answer would be 5 and 0/3. And if you look, this mixed number that we have created is not final because we have to still make it into a whole number since there's 0/3. You are going to do the same for B. And you may want to pause the video since I'm going to go into part 2 next of step 5. For part 2 of step 5, reduce your answer to the simplest or lowest form. For example, in A, 7 and 35, you have to think, can 7 fit into 35 anyway, or can we multiply 7 by anything to get 35? And in this case, we can. We can times it by 5. So that means 7 can evenly fit into 35. So that means we can reduce it by that number. So I'm going to put 7 divided by 7, and that will get me 1. I need to do the same thing to the bottom because whatever you do to the top, you have to do to the bottom. So 35 divided by 7 is 5. So then you have to look and see if you can reduce it anymore. And since they can only be reduced by itself and 1, it cannot be reduced anymore. So your final answer would be 1/5. You are going to do the same for B. And you're going to present all 3 B's to the class.